Okay, so guys, I let you in on some inside scoop. And there were some of you that believed me, and there was some of you that thought it was like an early April Fool's joke. I don't really know what the humor was. But I did come and I did tell you. Uriah Rodriguez was going to fight Josh Emmett over the weekend in a co-main event for a championship at 145. And they fought. They did fight. That did happen. And it was actually an amazing performance by Rodriguez. None of you guys cared. I have never been beaten in the numbers by a fight. I mean, I'm not only audited, guys, I am publicly audited. Go look at my numbers. They're all posted right there. I have never lost to the fight itself. Never. If a fight draws 200,000 pay-per-view buys, me discussing the fight will draw more than 200,000. Me talking about the fight will be watched and is more sought after than the fight itself if you're going by those numbers. That's just a fact. I couldn't get you guys to care when I shared that secret that they're fighting. I did a recap and I couldn't get you guys to care. And I don't know that I have to give that fight all the blame because it was an incredible performance by Rodriguez, who now 2 in a row has finished a fight from his back. One of the most dynamic and feared, one of the most confusing stand-up fighters this sport has ever seen. And I do mean ever, ever. You're talking Anderson-esque, you're talking Jon Jones-esque, and maybe with him on top. Quite possibly Uriah is the biggest puzzle on your feet. Machida looks at Rodriguez and goes, I don't even know what you're doing. And he's finishing fights when it matters, in main events, in number one contenders, on ABC, in co-main events of pay-per-views, in interim championship, dream-making, history-setting fights. He's finishing from his back, where he's not known to be scary. And it's an incredible thing. And quite frankly, Josh Emmett was fighting damn near a perfect fight. He truly was. We all misunderstood until now how good Rodriguez is from that position. And Emmett was the same as us. Emmett didn't know either. And before I give that fight a hard time, okay, there is something in the business known as sucking the air out of the room. The Super Bowl was over the weekend. Okay, now that's the final game within the NFL in football. It's the last game that they'll play. It's the championship game. There was no other games that day. But what if there were? If they had thrown an earlier game, would have you watched it? Would you expect me to be talking about it? If there was a game earlier, no matter who played, and I did come to talk about it, wouldn't you be a little annoyed that I wasn't just talking about the big game? And that's just human nature. And I have to say that because I don't know that Rodriguez and Emmett are as uninteresting as it would appear. They did a terrible job, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're as uninteresting as the numbers might say. I think it could be a little bit deceptive because all the energy went into Volkanovski and Islam. I mean, this fight was so hot, guys, but I really want you to hear this. Dana White said before the fight that it was trending to be a top 5 fight, but had the potential to come in at number 2 ever. Ever. If either one of those statements are true, this is massive. Just so you understand. The top 10 pay-per-views of all time are all held by Conor McGregor. Now, it's Conor versus somebody, but he's got all 10. So if this fight came in where it was trending at 5, it just beat 5 Conor McGregor fights. That's huge. Now, when you have a fight that's huge, and this was very unexpected, right? The promotion of this match was not done different. The media opportunities, the consequence, even what's on the line, was not much different. The only thing identifiable that was different about this fight is how it was set. It was set organically between those two guys on the back end of a pay-per-view. That is the only thing that this fight had that would be different from some of those fights they beat. Now, why do I bring that up, guys? Because when you have a fight like that, when you have something as big as this, if you have controversy, you have a rematch. When you have a fight as big as this, okay, if you have a good fight, you have a rematch. If you have a fight like this, it's as good of a match, it's got controversy, the pundits and the judges don't agree. Joe Rogan himself is calling it live, doing something called a companion. Brendan, Brian, Eddie, Joe, pretty good names, right? Pretty good minds in the room, can we agree? All at it for Volkanovski. Now, I don't attempt to rehash this. Those four minds were wrong. Islam won the fight. He won the fight 3-2. There is a discussion of should have he. There was multiple positions within that fight, including 2 minutes in the third round when Islam is holding on to Volk's back, but Volk is punching him in the face. And I guarantee you those judges would have given that position to Islam. Only because they weren't thinking about it. Once they hear what I'm saying, they go, God damn, Chael's right. Chael's right. Who cares what the position is? If you're getting punched in your face and you're not punching the other guy in the face, you're losing those moments. You then have the fact that our industry standard says you rob the guy from out of town. I did a lot of wrestling matches at Westland High School. And believe me, there were some close calls. They all went my way because it was Westland High School. I had plenty of wrestling matches down at MacArthur Court with some close calls, and those close calls all went my way. And when I was on the road, I knew that same thing. And if these three judges think they're going to walk around with some bravado because we follow the unified rules, yeah, you really didn't. I mean, truly, you really did not. I think that you misunderstood, but moreover, I think that you were really proud. There's a human element to this. You were proud to come in and have the guy that was booed be the victor because it was the right thing to do. Maybe. I mean, we've been screwing guys in this sport from the beginning of time. People will argue to this day, female. There was can't remember her name. Female, and it was very relevant. Country used to be a lot more sexist of a place. Vander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. Draw. There was a woman, the headlines, right? They tried to, that actually saved her. The fact that people were choosing to be a jury is actually what saved her. Fiction. It was fiction. That fight was not a draw. Evander didn't think it was a draw. And I only share that with you because the human element of this is very real. You guys love that fight. Dana's saying that it did big numbers. I watched a live crowd in Perth. Right? Perth is disgusting. These people don't have money in Perth. And they still got all these people to come out. That's a massive deal. They sold it out early. That's a massive deal. You had absolutely no supporting cast to the point that it was Rodriguez versus Emmett that no one knew about. And you still did numbers? Volkanovski is claiming and maintaining that he won. Islam is saying, that is ridiculous. I won. Every single ingredient to what I just said, any one of them gets you a rematch. This has every ingredient, but I don't hear anybody talking about a rematch. Why not?